The Ultimate Husband. By Sky Kissing Wolf. Episode 16. After more than half an hour later, almost everyone had presented their gifts to the old lady. Although not all gifts were expensive, they were far from cheap either, since most did not cost less than $200,000. It was worth mentioning that Elsa's gift was also very noteworthy. They were pair of jadeite bracelets, of which the quality could be described as flawless. Its beauty was beyond words. After seeing it, Grandmother Linden loved it so much and praised Elsa repeatedly. After receiving the jadeite bracelets, Grandmother Linden said to everyone, "By the way, Elsa is the eldest among our Linden family's younger generation and is very caring. She doesn't have a boyfriend at the moment, so if any of you want to propose marriage, please be my guest. Of course, those who want to do so can't be stubborn and obstreperous. After all, if you want to be her husband, you must be husband material." Elsa's complexion turned red from blushing at the old lady's words. Many of the guests who were present there felt tempted already. Elsa was beautiful and occupied a high status in the Linden family. She was virtually on the goddess level. At that moment, Elsa was seated beside Daryl because the seats for the birthday banquet were all arranged according to hierarchy. One could consider Daryl a lucky man to be sandwiched between two gorgeous ladies, with Lily sitting on his right and Elsa on his left. Daryl had nodded to himself when she took out and gifted the bracelet earlier. "This bracelet is interesting." Daryl seemed to be muttering to himself. "We'll say Green Lao Hang Imperial Jade. Good stuff." We'll say Green Lao Hang Imperial Jade was the name of a rare and exquisite jadeite. It was naturally made of the finest quality, highly translucent, highly smoothed in texture, delicate to the touch, and strikingly attractive. The bracelets were estimated to cost no less than $400,000. Elsa was seated when she heard Daryl's mutter. Her eyebrows furrowed and she could not help but turn to look at him. She and Daryl were people of two worlds, as she was an exalted goddess while he was a poor live-in son-in-law. She realized she had never spoken to him before since he married into the Linden family. At that point, however, Elsa could not resist asking in curiosity, "You know that it's an Ilse Green Lao Hang Imperial Jade?" Elsa was very surprised. No one in the Linden family except Daryl had recognized the jadeite bracelets and its origins. He nodded and asked, "How much did you spend on the bracelets?" $600,000. Elsa replied. Daryl shook his head. "It's overpriced. It's at most valued at just over $400,000. Why?" Elsa's curiosity was piqued. The bracelets had been sold to her by a close friend who claimed to have not made any profit from the sale. Daryl explained in a low voice, "There are several factors to consider when evaluating a piece of imperial jade: purity, color, texture, and uniformity. Your bracelet is satisfactory in the first three criteria, but the problem lies in its uniformity. The color distribution is not even, and the market price is about $450,000. If you bought it from an acquaintance, then it should sell for $400,000 at most. If it exceeds that price, then the person has made a profit from you." Elsa stared at Daryl without blinking. Even an expert would not dare to make such conclusive statements. Daryl was nothing but a loser in everyone's eyes, yet he still knew such things. "Granny Linden, here's my gift." A young man in his early 20s stepped forward. The young man was the eldest grandson of Tay White family, named Zachary White. When he opened his gift box, most of the guests were stunned seeing what was inside. It was a check. $1,314,520. Although that number played on the Chinese homonym of "LL love you for the rest of my life," his gift was a little unconventional, especially when it was a sum of more than $1 million. "Granny, I'd like to propose to Elsa today. I've admired her for a very long time," Zachary said clearly. Gasp. Everyone's attention converged on Elsa in an instant. At that moment, she was in the midst of a discussion with Daryl about the jadeite, and the two of them were seated close to each other. Zachary could not hold himself. He had proposed marriage to Elsa, but she was chatting away with Daryl in full swing. So be it, she chatted with someone else, but Daryl was a well-known loser. Stay away from Elsa. An infuriated Zachary pointed to Daryl and bellowed. Daryl responded with a faint smile. Before he could speak, Elsa stood up. Granny, I'll have to give this marriage proposal some thought. Far too many people were present there, and Elsa could not just reject Zachary outright. He may have a shrewd mind and excelled at doing business, but he was narrow-minded and was not her type. The old woman understood her at once and said with a smile, "Our two families can discuss your proposal when the banquet is over." Zachary glared at Daryl with reddened eyes. It was love at first sight when Zachary first saw Elsa. She was the aloof kind of woman who was hardly seen conversing with someone of the opposite gender. It was inevitable that Zachary would get angry at the sight of her chatting away happily with Daryl. "Granny, Ashton is here," someone said. Everyone looked toward the door. Dressed in a suit with his hair slicked back, Ashton seemed to be brimming with energy. He held a long box in his hand and walked over quickly. "Ashton," the old lady greeted with a smile. Rumors had it that Ashton had prepared an amazing gift and wanted to propose to Lily. Everyone stared at his box without blinking, their curiosity having been aroused some time ago. It was said that his gift would appeal greatly to Grandmother Linden, so the question was, what gift could give him such confidence? Ashton bowed slightly. He looked glamorous and suave, but the truth of the matter, which only he was privy to, was that he had reached the end of his road. The Drabby clan had stripped him of his livelihood and chased him out of the company. He had used up whatever remaining funds to buy a good suit and attend the birthday banquet. He could only succeed today. "Granny, I have something to say and I'd like to be straightforward about it." Ashton slowly began. "Fell in love with Lily at first sight, but she married a loser. Even after 3 years of marriage, Donghai City continues to treat this marriage as a joke. She's already endured enough and I can't bear to see her suffer anymore. No matter what happens today, I'd have to express my thoughts." Ashton took a deep breath. "I want to marry Lily." Whoa! The crowd burst into a heated discussion as soon as he said that. Was it not a bit too direct, though? He did not even show the slightest bit of respect toward Daryl. Then again, why was there even a need to respect a piece of trash like Daryl? It was not like anyone was afraid to offend him. "In the past few years, the only person I've been thinking about was Lily Budd," Ashton continued. "I'm willing to give up everything for her. For so many years, I've only managed to amass 30 million worth in assets with my effort, but because of my love for Lily Budd, I sold my company and bought her the worship of Crystal." What? Shocked, everyone turned to look at Lily's feet. A pair of noble and elegant high heels became the crowd's focus. The perfectly streamlined and regal quality of those heels dazzled everyone. Its beauty was unparalleled and it was a perfect match for a beautiful woman. "This is the worship of Crystal that is worth 30 million. How amazing. Yeah, there are only 99 pairs in the world. You can't buy it even if you have the money. You must have connections. I'm so jealous. If I have these heels, I might even wear them to sleep." The women began chattering away about the worship of Crystal. Any woman who claimed not to be envious of it was a big fat liar. For a moment, the women around Ashton were all staring at him starry-eyed. Samantha and Wentworth nodded repeatedly. They had a pleased expression as they looked at Ashton. Daryl frowned instantly. Was there something wrong with that damn Ashton? How shameless and thick-faced was he to claim that he was the one who bought those shoes? Has he gone mad? At that point, Ashton bowed yet again. "Since today is your birthday, Granny, it's only right that I pay tribute to you after proposing marriage. Here's my gift." Ashton opened the box as he made that statement. Wow! In a flash, everyone went up gasping in exclamations. This This is. Everyone was stupefied. Even the old lady stood up unconsciously and walked over to Ashton. There was a scroll inside the box. Ashton unfurled it and said proudly. This scroll is from Wang Shiji's pinyin tai. I bought it at a high price after having to beg a friend. I know that Granny likes antiques, so this scroll is a sign of my utmost respect. What? Daryl immediately stood up from his chair too. Wang Shiji's pinyin tai. The gift from Samson and the gang was the exact same pinyin tai, right? It stood to reason that Samson, Wayne, and the others, would never dare to give him a fake. Therefore, if the genuine article was in his possession, then that one. This. I'm not hallucinating, am I? The White family patriarch, Claude White, walked over with his mouth agape. As the White family's patriarch, Claude could be described as a knowledgeable person, though his heart was beating wildly at that point. It was a calligraphic piece by Wang Shiji, the sage of calligraphy. An opus of that sort could not possibly be worth less than 20 million. Episode 17. Come here, let me have a look at it. The old lady was getting restless and ordered softly, to which all her juniors made way for her. She adjusted her reading glasses and looked at it without blinking. Such powerful strokes, so brilliant and smooth. It was simply a masterpiece. I'm quite certain that this isn't an imitation. Claude gave a thumbs up and seemed rather excited. I would never expect to see Wang Shiji's original work here. Yes. It's usually seen only in museums. So beautiful. His ability to create this piece makes him worthy of being the sage of calligraphy. Everyone lavished praise on it and Grandmother Linden was beyond thrilled. All right. The grandmother repeated 3 times before carefully putting away the scroll. She instructed her servants. Put this in the box right away. Be sure to hold it gently and put it down carefully. Yes. The servants nodded in quick succession and were very cautious to not hold it using too much force. Everyone said that it was Wang Shiji's work and was of immense value. If they destroyed it, would they be able to afford its compensation? On one side, Lily bit her lip tightly and felt touched for some reason. Ashton had sold the company just to buy her a pair of high heels and even presented such a momentous gift to Granny. Hey, look here everyone. Daryl's expression is so funny, William burst out laughing right away and pointed at Daryl, saying, look. He's also holding a box in his hand. Ha! He's got a gift for Granny too. William's words spurred the crowd to start cheering. Indeed, Daryl's expression was unnatural, though it was due to Ashton's shamelessness. To think that Ashton would give the old lady a fake. Come on now, Daryl. Take out your gift and let us have a look. Yeah, haha. Everyone saw the gift box Daryl was holding. The box looked far too shoddy as if it was picked up from the garbage. Daryl was contemptible. Even if he could not bear to spend his money during ordinary times, did he have to skimp so hard with the old lady's birthday celebration? Forget it. Daryl waved his hand, having already seen through the expressions of everyone there. They would almost certainly mock him regardless of what gift he had, so it would be better to avoid all the troubles by not seeing the gift. Come on now, haha. William leaped over all of a sudden. It's Granny's birthday celebration today and we've already seen everyone else's gifts. Yours is the only one left. Your wife is going to be snatched away soon too, so how will you redeem yourself if you don't reveal your gift? Ha ha ha. His remarks elicited hearty laughter from everyone around him. Lily's expression soured to the extreme and she was feeling slightly angry. She had told Daryl in advance to prepare a better gift, but he did precisely the opposite. Now, he was making an absolute fool of himself. Sit down right now. Stop standing. Lily pulled Daryl's arm and reprimanded softly. On the other side, Samantha also had rage written all over her face. She pointed to Daryl and shouted, hurry up and put your garbage gift at the door. Don't embarrass us here, you good-for-nothing loser. Oh. Daryl murmured. He held the box and walked to the door, where many gifts were placed. He was just about to put the box in the pile of gifts when William ran over and grabbed the box by surprise. Don't be so petty. What gift did you get for Granny? Show us. William said excitedly and opened the box. In a flash, the whole villa fell silent. Everyone stared at Daryl's gift and gulped. It was an antique hand fan with black ribs. As the hand fan was unfolded, a landscape was painted in thick ink on the surface of the fan, depicting a snowy day. The brush technique was amazing, and it was likely painted by a Gria man of the time. It would be impossible to paint something like that without decades of knowledge and experience. A poem was also written in a corner of the fan. 1 flake, 2 flakes, snowflakes 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flakes, 10 and more, gliding into plumflowers, snowflakes were seen no more. There are more than a dozen seals on the fan, but the most striking aspect was the poem's royal sign-off, Homely. Homely. Aisin Joro Homely. The renowned Qianlong Emperor. Ha ha ha. Someone burst out into uncontrollable laughter, triggering the rest of the people to laugh out loud too. Ha ha ha, you're killing me. This fan is so fake, isn't it? Ha ha ha. True that. Would the fan used by the Qianlong Emperor appear here? Ha ha ha. Donghai City History Museum might not even dare to claim that they have it. William clutched his stomach as he rocked back and forth laughing hard. He laughed saying as he pointed at Daryl. You're hilarious, ha ha ha. Are you cuckoo? Couldn't you have spent a bit of money for Granny's birthday today? Tell me, where did you get this fan? Ha ha ha. A friend helped me but it. Daryl answered bluntly. His initial intention was to gift Wang Shiji's pinyin tie, but the scroll was given to him as a gift by Wayne and the others. A gift that one received should never be gifted to another person because that would seem disrespectful. Therefore, Daryl had entrusted Emily to help him choose a gift. Little did he know that Emily would HLP him by that fan. She said that her friend happened to be one of the country's leading antique collectors, and she had to beg him for a long time before getting the fan. It was said that the Qianlong Emperor had used that fan for an entire year. The fan even had a name, called the Boundless Universe Fan. A friend helped you to buy it? William clutched his stomach and tried hard not to laugh. How much did you spend? None. My friend doesn't want money. Daryl said. She only asked that I treat her to some rice noodle soup in the future if she has some time to spare. Rice noodle soup. You mean rice noodle soup from Yunnan? William had just come to his senses but was once again left completely unable to control himself. He barely stopped short of fainting after laughing so hard. Ha ha ha. The audience burst into raucous laughter. Daryl was a bloody joke whose shamelessness knew no bounds. Ha. The old lady stared coldly at Daryl. Do you still have any dignity? Lily Budd was so unlucky when she married you. Can someone please throw this rubbish fan away from me? Yes. 2 servants nodded, picked up the fan and the bow, opened the door, and threw it out. The crowd's laughter did not cease, and Daryl sighed as he returned to his seat and sat down. Grandmother Linden was very happy at first, but she could no longer maintain her joyful expression after what happened. She waved her hand and said, "All right, let me just say a few words. First of all, thank you all for coming to my birthday banquet despite your busy schedule." She nodded her head slightly and continued, "Please enjoy yourselves to the fullest today. Eat and drink as much as you like. 2 gentlemen have proposed to our family, and I've already taken note of it. We shall discuss it after the banquet is over." At that juncture, the old lady stood up. "Dear guests. You've all brought such amazing gifts today, and it's only right for me to show the same generosity. I've prepared good food and wine today. The old lady clapped her hands, signaling dozens of waiters to bring in many sumptuous dishes. Premium king abalone, Buddha's temptation, shark fin soup with abalone and bird's nest. Dish after dish elicited looks of wonder from the guests. There were more than a dozen dishes on each table, each of which was famous dish. It was estimated that the total price for the dishes per table would not be less than 100,000. Everyone was still in awe when an announcement was made. "Old madam, Miss Yvonne Yound is here. Hurry up and welcome her," the old lady said quickly. The young family had been in the antique business for generations. They had a good relationship with the Linden family, and Yvonne was invited to the celebration banquet that the old lady had organized for Lily. Lily smiled. Previously, Yvonne had asked who gifted her the worship of crystal and even offered to buy it at double the original price. At the time, however, Lily had no idea that Ashton was the one who gifted it to her. Perfect. She could ask Ashton about it and request his help to get a pair for Yvonne. All the men began ogling at Yvonne when she appeared. Her beauty was exceptional. She wore a pair of tight jeans and a white shirt that accentuated her sexy figure. "Please accept my apologies, there was a traffic jam on the road." Yvonne flashed an apologetic smile as she walked in. To everyone's surprise, she halted her footsteps before she could finish speaking. This is... Yvonne looked down at the ground. It was the tattered fan that had been thrown out. The fan was still in the shoddy box at the time. As someone whose family dealt in antiques for generations, Yvonne noticed that the box was rather extraordinary. "President Young, there's no need to pick up the trash. Someone will sweep it away," the old lady said with a smile. Episode 18. Trash. Yvonne found that description amusing. If she was correct, that box was probably used by the palace during the Qing dynasty's Qianlong period. The box's material was very valuable and highly likely to be golden thread nanmo. While it was evident that the box was weather-beaten and looked particularly wrecked, its workmanship was exceedingly exquisite upon closer inspection. The box alone was worth hundreds of thousands, yet it was treated as rubbish? Perhaps driven by occupational habit, Yvonne opened her bag and took out a pastel green magnifying glass. The young family has been in the antique business for generations and often picked up valuable items on the roadside. It was imperative that a magnifying glass be carried along at all times. "President Young, what are you doing?" The old lady could not resist saying, "This is just some rubbish. The servants will come right away and toss this into the bin." Yvonne kept quiet. As she analyzed the wooden box through her magnifying glass, drops of sweat formed on her forehead. There was a golden dragon engraved on the box. Despite going through years of battering, it was only under a magnifying glass that one could barely make out the undeniable fact that the box had been used by the emperor. Back in the feudal era, there were only a few people who dared to create dragon carvings. It was a time when imperial power reigned supreme authority, and only the emperor's engravers could create the box. Her earlier estimation of several 100,000 had been a severe underestimation. It was worth at least 1 million. "President Young, come and have a seat." William walked over and bowed respectfully to Yvonne. "President Young, the banquet is about to begin." Yvonne put away her magnifying glass and whispered, "This box. Whose gift was it?" "No one." William hurriedly waved his hand. "Don't get me wrong, President Young, all of our guests today are illustrious people. They wouldn't give presents bought from a roadside stall. Ha! After all, the Linden family were equally prestigious and would never admit to accepting such a gift." As William spoke, he brought the box over and was about to toss it into the bin. The old lady glanced at William appreciatively. He was such a good grandson and she did not pamper him in vain. "Wait." Yvonne spoke again and took the box. She finally understood that everyone there was oblivious to the nature of the item. An item from a roadside stall. No one seemed to realize that it was a precious treasure. Slowly but excitedly, she opened the box. Almost immediately, Yvonne was dumbfounded and a chill trembled down her spine. The Boundless Universe fan. How was that possible? Yvonne bit her lip tightly and nearly drew blood from it. It was common knowledge that the Qianlong Emperor had a fondness for two main things. The first was seal engravement. It was said that the Qianlong Emperor had created thousands of seals. His second hobby was poetry, and he had written more than 40,000 poems in his lifetime. Be that as it may, most of those poems were substandard and few people have memorized them well. However, there was one poem that everyone remembered clearly. That poem was 1 flake, 2 flakes, snowflakes 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 flakes 10 and more, gliding into plumflowers, snowflakes were seen no more. The first 3 sentences of the poem were written by the Qianlong Emperor, but the 4th sentence was written by Ji Xiaolan as a finishing touch. Legend had it that the Qianlong Emperor had written the poem and was so happy with it that he immediately asked the best painter to paint a scene and used it to make a hand fan. The Qianlong Emperor later inscribed that poem on the hand fan and printed more than a dozen seals on it, which he liked a lot. The hand fan was also known as the best hand fan in the entire Qing dynasty. Qianlong Emperor had named it the Boundless Universe fan. This fan has always been kept in the Forbidden City, but after the Qing dynasty's fall, the Forbidden City was completely wiped out by foreigners. Following those events, there was no longer any news about the hand fan. At this precise moment, she was actually seeing it with her own eyes. Yvonne was thrilled and her legs went soft. Her first instinct was to take out her cell phone and snap a picture of it for her father. He would be overjoyed to see it. The fan was a supreme treasure for any collector, who would certainly feel content simply by looking at it. President Young, I'll throw this fan away. Don't dirty your hands. William said with a smile. I know you're an antique expert. You probably find it quite comical that a fake like this would show up in Out Lindenholm. A fake? Yvonne asked as she raised an eyebrow. She had been exposed to antiques since the age of 7 and had been in the business for more than a decade. Her judgment was always accurate, the item was authentic. You guys have gotten it wrong, haven't you? Yvonne asked softly. This hand fan. This hand fan belongs to me. Daryl stood up suddenly at that moment and walked to Yvonne to take back the hand fan. Everyone knew that it was Granny's birthday that day, but how many people knew that it was also his birthday? Daryl clenched his fists tightly. So be it then if no one knew about his birthday. Why the hell did he have to tolerate their insults there? If they could not tell chalk to cheese, he might as well not give that fan. It's yours. Yvonne looked at Daryl. Wasn't Daryl the one who gave up his seat for me at the Oriental Pearl Hotel? She had heard that he was the live-in son-in-law of the Linden family and was a nobody. How could that hand fan belong to him? Yes, President Young, this broken fan belongs to him. William exclaimed. Apart from a loser like him, who else would have the decency to take such a broken thing? No matter how tattered my gift is, it's still better than your fake knight shining pearl. Daryl shot back coldly. Granny loves you so much, yet you don't even feel the slightest bit of shame for giving her that awful pearl worth only several thousand. You don't appreciate the fan I gave, right? No problem, I'll take it back. Daryl pocketed the hand fan as he said that. Are you *King mental? William suddenly flew into a rage. Who are you accusing of giving a gift worth only several thousand? If you keep making blind comparisons, I'll get someone to kill you. Enough, the old lady finally interrupted. This is supposed to be a happy day. Stop arguing. There's something I'd like to say. William spitted at Daryl's direction and returned to his seat. As one of the distinguished guests, Yvonne should be seated at the front, but she followed Daryl to his seat. Can I sit here, Auntie? Yvonne looked at Samantha and asked. Yes, of course. Samantha said with a smile. Daryl, hurry up and move aside for President Young. No, no, Auntie, don't get me wrong. Yvonne smiled lightly. What I meant was, can I sit next to him? Yvonne pointed at Daryl as he made that request. What? Yvonne's voice was not that loud, but the surrounding people heard her loud and clear. What was going on? Why did that goddess want to sit next to a loser? Other girls would run at the sight of him, but she wanted to sit next to him. Samantha was equally stunned. Her first thought was that Daryl had offended Yvonne earlier. President Young, Daryl is a fool. Don't be angry with him. Samantha said. Don't take offense with him. You misunderstood, Auntie. Yvonne's red lips curled up slightly. I want to chat with him. You misunderstood, Auntie. Yvonne's red lips curled up slightly. Want to chat with him. Hearing what she said, everyone around was even more stunned. What was there to chat with Daryl? He was so poor that the sight of him was revolting. How could a goddess and a loser have a common topic? Samantha hesitated for a while, then nodded. She gave up her seat and went to sit at the back. At that point, Lily unconsciously looked to her side. In her heart, she had always felt that Daryl was a loser who would never attract the attention of any girl. With Yvonne suddenly requesting to sit next to him, she could not help but feel a slight discomfort in her heart. Her womanly instinct told Lily that there must be a reason for Yvonne to want to sit next to Daryl. Now, 3 exquisite beauties were seated around Daryl, Yvonne, Lily, and Elsa. Half of the men there had their eyes fixed on his direction, shifting across all 3 women. Without a doubt, the 3 women each had their own merits. Hello. Excuse me. Yvonne looked at Daryl and spoke, but she swallowed her words before she could end it. She discovered that Daryl did not even turn to look at her. Yvonne felt a little angry deep down. She had taken the initiative to strike up a conversation with him but was given the cold shoulder instead. For more episodes, please support my channel by hitting the subscribe button.